Supcaman replied to me, "You're probably wondering how this happened and how it all started. For this, we need to start from the very beginning, when a former employee of the Invis company started a live stream. You'll learn this and much more in today's video. Don't forget about the like, and also subscribe to the channel, because there's very little left until 150,000 best viewers. Well, let's begin. A former Invis employee named Joel, after a year of absence from his YouTube channel, launched a gaming stream. I remember that day very well because pretty much every skibidi YouTuber was in the chat. Iron Cameraman, EBO, One More Animator, and even Strider. On top of everyone else, Supcaman was there too, but under his alias, Door Closer. He answered various questions from the chat and asked some himself. In his replies, we recognized his writing style, along with a lot of interesting details. For example, he wrote that he's currently a bit tired of SFM. He also agreed with a statement about the unfairness of big companies toward content creators. Besides the normal questions, there were also dumb ones, like this. It went on for about an hour, and during that time, YouTubers kept dropping in, and the conversation continued for a while after. I didn't stay on the sidelines either and wrote one question in the chat. I addressed the former employee with this question: why does David love his Discord avatar so much?
Got it question from Supcaman.
Because this is something he could actually answer since he worked alongside him. For those who don't know who David is, he's the second man in the company after Adam, the director. He became known in our community for throwing strikes at anyone who criticized their company, and as his tool he used his Discord avatar, which is publicly available and set up precisely so people would look at it. But since after that incident his image couldn't be used, I drew him in paint. Here's roughly what he looks like. And here's what Door Closer wrote. Who is David? And that's where I was surprised. Several theories immediately came to mind. Either he genuinely doesn't know David because at that moment it wasn't Boom himself typing, but his friend. Or he knows everything perfectly well and is just pretending not to. There's also a third option, the most likely one. He simply wanted to mess around and pour a little gasoline on the fire. I decided to clarify and wrote, you don't know him. But in his universe, Emergence is better than episode 78. He also likes blue t-shirts. But the most interesting part came next. Did you know you can create a chat with a skibidi scientist? I was genuinely surprised when I found out about this site. Here you can create your own personal character and chat with them. All of this is available on Polybuzz. It's a platform where more than 20 million AI characters are waiting for you. Anime heroes, celebrities, characters from your favorite movies and games. They're all ready to chat right now, any minute of the day. Dive into exciting role-play stories and create your own plots with no limits to your imagination. And the coolest part, you can design your own unique character. Choose their personality, backstory, communication style, and appearance. Your perfect companion will be exactly the way you imagine them. Polybuzz remembers your conversations, so every new chat becomes deeper, livelier, and more interesting. Want to talk to your favorite anime hero? They're already waiting for you. All chats are completely private and confidential. No one will see your messages. Chat freely, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, absolutely free. Polybuzz, your world of endless stories and emotions. And the promo code SUPCA77 will give you 3 days of access to premium features. Link in the description. Click it and start your adventure today. After this exchange, a detail surfaced in the chat that was genuine news for us. It turns out that besides Alexi and his friend, there's a third person on the Door Closer channel. Alexi wrote, "There are multiple people uploading on my channel from time to time. At least 3.
Wow! Door Closer said there are multiple people uploading on my channel from time to time.
But who this third person is, he never said. This is a very important admission. It explains why different videos on the Door Closer channel sometimes differ in style, and it directly ties into that theory about Supcaman and PowerCat labels on thumbnails, which I talked about in one of my previous videos. Different authors, different handwriting, but one shared channel. Now we have direct confirmation from Alexei himself. At least 3 people work on the content. Next, Supcaman invited the former employee to reveal who exactly worked on Emergence. He wrote, "Joel, can you confirm who worked on Emergence? Everyone probably want to know." Most likely, Alexei knows perfectly well that some company from India worked on that episode. But apparently he wanted a company insider to be the one to say it, so it would stop being a rumor and become a fact. Unfortunately, We never got an answer to that question, and here it's worth pausing to appreciate how subtly Alexei operates. He's bound by a contract and can't speak directly about the company, so he uses a clever tactic. He doesn't reveal the information himself, but nudges others toward it. He asks a public question to a former employee who is no longer bound by obligations. If Joel had answered, the truth about Emergence would have come out, but not from Alexei's mouth. It's a very smart move by someone who's been silenced, but still looks for ways to get to the truth. Now let's break down the rest of Alexei's replies from that stream, because each one is telling in its own way. One viewer asked him a ridiculous question about food. "How are the Buffalo Wild Wings? I saw you gave it a 5-star rating." Alexei answered in his typical manner, "What Buffalo Wild Wings you tell about can you It seems like an ordinary, pointless exchange. But it's exactly moments like these that show Alexei is still himself, that same bold, ironic guy from the internet who wasn't broken by the company, the contracts, or 9 months of pressure. He still snaps back, still keeps his character. And for the audience that matters, it's proof that behind the alias door closer is the same Boom we know. Next came a question about his new series. Alexei wrote, "Alelela 8 is coming soon. Soon I was JS taking a lil rest from SFM." As we now know, the episode has already come out, and the reason for the delay turned out to be nothing but fatigue. He was simply tired of the program he creates his animations in and took a short break. But the main thing is, he's coming back. And here an important observation suggests itself. While the company sits on the rights to Skibidi Toilet and hasn't released anything new for 9 months, Alexei keeps creating on his own channel. Alela is developing, new episodes are on the way. This clearly shows where the life and the creativity actually are. Not where the legal rights are, but where the creator is. But Alexei's deepest reply came in response to a comment from the user Evgeny Hontor. He wrote a very wise thought. "It would be great if all creative people retained their independence, and large companies only provided legal assistance." And Alexei answered briefly, but powerfully, 100%. Now this is neither a joke nor sarcasm. This is a direct, sincere statement of his position. Think about what just happened. A person described the ideal model of the relationship between an author and a company, one where the creator remains the owner of their work, and the company only helps with legal matters without taking away control. And Alexei fully agreed with it. Because this is exactly what didn't happen in his case. The company didn't become a helper protecting the author. It became an owner that took everything. The rights, the income, the control, even the right to speak. And when Alexei puts his 100% under that thought, he's essentially telling us how things should have been and what went wrong. He doesn't complain, doesn't accuse anyone directly. He simply agrees with a description of a fair world, and in that agreement you can hear all the pain of his own situation. Formally, he isn't violating any restrictions. He isn't criticizing the company, isn't naming names, isn't revealing contract details. He's just supporting a general idea about the independence of creators. But we all understand perfectly well what he's really talking about. It's another example of how Alexei learned to communicate with his audience through the wall that was built around him. If you put all these replies together, a clear picture emerges. Alexei isn't broken. He keeps working on new projects. He keeps his character and his humor. He subtly but unmistakably makes it clear what he thinks about the company. And he finds ways to communicate with us without breaking the contract. Each of his replies is a small message. The sarcasm about Emergence is his assessment of what the company did to his series. The question about who made Emergence is an attempt to pull out the truth. The admission about 3 people on the channel is a reveal of how everything actually works. Agreeing with the idea of creator independence is his manifesto. Individually, these are just comments. Together they form the coherent position of a man who can't speak directly, but still finds a way to be heard. And here's what's most valuable. Notice how the audience reacts to these replies. Every comment of his instantly gets screenshotted, analyzed, and discussed. People search for hidden meaning in his words, just like they once searched for Easter eggs in Skibidi Toilet episodes. So it turns out that even now, stripped of his main project, Alexei keeps creating that same effect of engagement. The company tried to isolate him from the audience, but the exact opposite happened. He remains alive and close to the community, while the official channel becomes more and more alien. I want to say something separately about the stream itself, because it's more significant than it seems. Think about who gathered there. a former employee of the company who hadn't appeared in a year, practically every major Skibidi YouTuber, and Alexei himself under an alias. It was like an informal meeting of all the key figures of the conflict in one place, and the fact that Alexei showed up and actively participated says that he hasn't fenced himself off from the community. He's still a part of it, despite all the restrictions, and the presence of former employee Joel makes it even more interesting. This is a man who knows the company's inner workings, someone who can confirm or deny a lot of what we can only guess at. And the fact that Alexei publicly asked him about emergence in front of everyone shows that he wants the truth to come out. He can't tell it himself, but he can create a situation where someone else does. Keep following the Door Closer channel. Every like of yours, every bit of your attention is a signal to him that he's not alone, that we're here, and we understand everything. And for a person in his position, that may be the most valuable thing we can give. Personally, I believe moments like these bring our victory closer. Every time the participants of this conflict cross paths this openly, new details, new confirmations, and new leads surface. The truth gets assembled piece by piece, and the more of those pieces we hold, the harder it becomes for the company to maintain its convenient version of events. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video, because in it, Iron Cameraman and I are going to do something. This has been Super Cameraman. See you very soon. Goodbye, everyone.